less processors than your algorithm is the same thing as in network when you say that the requests do not arrive too often, that you have your load is a little bit lower than 1. Okay? You know that because of the bad decision you made earlier, you will not be able to stand a load of 1. Okay? And that's exactly the same idea here. If the algorithm is allowed to use only 90% of the processors, it's the same idea as saying that the server is loaded at 90%. And what you want is your algorithm to be able to stay competitive, that means not diverge with the number of jobs with the highest load possible. Okay? So the lowest P possible. So, I'll get back to the algorithm we came up, and I think that we will just have time to see why it works. So, what's the algorithm? The algorithm is really simple. We just forget about the DAG. Okay? So we have one red job here, one orange job here, one green job here. It's just one piece. Okay? And the algorithm is really simple. What you do is that when the first job arrives, you just schedule it until it ends. And in between, what you do is that you put all the other jobs that arrive in a bucket, in a batch. Okay, you just store them. And when you're done with the first job, then you start processing all the jobs in the batch. Okay? And how do you schedule them? You just use equi. That means that you give an equal share of the processors to each of the jobs in the batch. Okay? So during the computation here, no job arrives. So at the end of the computation here, the batch is empty. So you wait for the next job to arrive, and then you schedule it, and then maybe some other jobs arrive, they are put in a batch, and you will schedule the next batch afterwards. Okay, so you have two batches, one which is scheduled, and the other one that just accepts the request. Okay? So, I will skip this part, and just tell you that, for some reason, the worst case instance is a parallel phase followed by the sequential phase. Okay? So, for some reason, and the reasons are very easy, is that par and sequential phase, we've seen that these are the two extremes of the progress rate functions. Okay, so somehow it's more, but these are the two ones that are. Okay, so you can get rid of the DAG dependencies using the techniques we developed with Julien. And the reason why par, the worst case is when par is before, is because equi gives an equal share of the processors. And since all the jobs are started at the same time in the processing, because you process them by batch, the share of the processors that the job will get can only increase with time. Okay? As soon as the job completes, then it will get a little bit more processor. And then, if the par is afterwards, then it will get more processors. So, if you want to delay as much as possible the computation, then you should move all the par before. Okay? Since the algorithm is non-clairvoyant, it will not change anything, and that's why this is the worst case. Okay? So, now, why does it work? So, why does it work? Is that, I'm 1 minute, okay. So, let's get back to here. Well, yeah, okay. So why does it work? Here is that we'll look at the amount of time we waste on sec. Okay? And the idea is that when a job enters its sec phases, in sequential phases, then it's almost done. Okay? It's almost done because this is the last phase. And you know that it will be done after the length of the maximum sequential phase. Okay? So what's going on here is that as soon as the number of the proportion you give to sequential is above a certain threshold, this means that you will have a fraction of the jobs that will just terminate. Okay? And if the amount of processors that is given to par is high, this means that you will progress a lot on the par. Okay? So you have on one side a linear progress here of the par, and here an exponential decay on the sec. And since you have 1 plus epsilon, the one processor will be used to compete with the optimum for the par, and the epsilon that remains will allow you to get rid of the sequential in log n time, whereas the jobs arrive increasing n. Okay, so epsilon will be enough to get rid of it. Okay, that's the key here. And that's what I wanted to say. I can speak about the lower bound, but not today. And so we have a matching lower bound. It's constructed on the same idea, and I'm done. Okay. Thank you very much.